Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's poppin', my friends? It is the day after the trade deadline when this launches. I don't know if anything happens, though. We're recording this on Tuesday. If something happens during the show, we're going to react to it as it happens as we're recording, not as it happens on Wednesday when you listen to the show.
As of recording, there's been nothing.
Yeah. The NFL, man. Yeah, baseball, everyone's trading everyone away. Hockey is a bunch of trades. Basketball, all kinds of trade. Football, nothing. Single time. Actually, there was some defensive deals. But outside of that, really nothing on the offensive side yet. But we will give you information as it comes in if something happens. But today, we do have the Thursday night preview pod. We're going to go through all kinds of players and tell you about them, what you need to do with them, and determine if they should start in your lineup. We got a pretty crappy Thursday night football game, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, it's probably one of the worst Thursday night games of the year.
Yeah, so
because at least from the beginning of the year when we had Bengals, Jaguars. The Bengals ended up being a half decent team, although they did lose to the Jets. But at least we got to watch Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence. We got Carson Wentz and Mr. Mike White, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Who did throw 300 or 400 yards this week though against the Bengals? But
you think Mike White's going off start of the week?
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Anyway, so we'll get to all that stuff in a second. But before we, anyway, welcome to Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. By the way, I'm jumping the gun on the intro. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always.
What's going on?
Before we jump into everything, check our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Type our name in. You'll find us anywhere. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcast platforms, please leave a review, share this pod with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to click the bell for noties, and then like and comment down below any questions you have about the Thursday night football game. All right. So let's start, with some news that came out. A couple of pieces of news, actually. Okay. We don't usually do news, but I feel like these are pertinent points of information. This is going to be a really boring Thursday night preview show. So, do you want to start anyone on the Jets? No. Done. Half the show's done. Anyway, so let's start with the news that we got this morning. Henry Ruggs got absolutely toasty and then drove his car. And those two things usually don't go together well. And he now has a DUI and potential, I would say, vehicular homicide situation if somebody really did die. Yeah,
somebody did die. That's official.
Wow.
He killed someone.
But they said they didn't, or they charged him with a DUI, but they haven't. I would not be surprised if they charged him with.
Charged with a DUI resulting to death was Adam Schefter's tweet.
I feel like it should be vehicular homicide. Does that fit the bill?
I think so.
Anyway, so yeah, I would think it's safe to say that if he somehow makes it out of this, he might play a snap in the NFL again.
Won't be for a long time.
But
I don't think
so.
And that's if that's the case.
Let me see, because the Raiders,
according to reports so far, my guess is he's never playing another game in the NFL.
Okay, that's like a. So I mean, obviously, drop him, get rid of him. What do you do in a dynasty league with him?
I guess you hold on to him for the next couple of days and wait till all the information comes out, see what happens. But I mean, in dynasty, it's hard to just drop a player like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's all this is still new.
Oh, I got him in a league.
Oh, yeah, you do. What are you going to do with that league? Hold on to him?
Yeah, I'll hold him. It's a deep league, so might as well.
Yeah, I mean, but just don't. I expect to probably drop him.
So the Raiders said they are aware of an incident or an accident involving Henry Ruggs that occurred this morning in Las Vegas. We are devastated by the loss of life, and thoughts and prayers go to the victim's family. We are in the process of gathering information. We'll have no further comment at this time. Okay, so I would say they're going to cut him. That would be...
Yeah, that'd be my guess, too.
That would be my guess. They might hold on to him. I think they want to see what happens, I guess. Yeah. With the... This is such a weird situation because players have been arrested for DUI and then they get like a 4-game suspension or something like that.
I know, right?
And usually they don't end up serving any time if it's like a first offense because they have enough money to like kind of bail themselves out or settle.
This is different because he got someone killed.
Yeah, so just keep an eye on the situation. I don't know that we have enough information yet. Redraft, I think you can drop him, but I would still even wait. Like you don't need to like drop him now. Just because you saw the news, I would just wait to see how it develops a little bit. And then if it ends in him getting cut or suspended or whatever you'll have, or, you'll have the information that you need to make your decision. So there's no reason to go and like, unless you are triggered that he killed someone. It's a whole other conversation.
I would just hold on to him for now until more information comes out, but expect to eventually drop him.
Yes.
Especially in redraft.
In other news, Adam Schefter reported that the Deshaun Watson trade with Miami is not happening, which, I could have told you
I think that was also reported like 2 weeks ago.
Seriously. And but the big names, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, they're trying to keep this sucker alive for whatever reason. It just wasn't there. I know what this was coming from because looking more into the situation between that head coach Brian Flores is totally fine with Tua. And like if you got him Deshaun Watson, I think he would have been like, okay, here we go. But I don't think he actively wanted to pursue Deshaun Watson. Ownership wanted to pursue Deshaun Watson. So they were making their own phone calls with the GM, trying to determine if it was a trade that they wanted to make and negotiating. And I think that's where all the information was coming from. And then from the bottom where you had the head coach and the coaching staff, they were like, no, Tua's our quarterback. Like, that's not going to happen, that kind of thing. So right. I don't know if it's going to happen in the offseason. That sounds like a much more likely, obviously, yes, it's going to happen in the offseason, but we still don't know anything about the situation with Deshaun Watson. And until Houston's trying to like hold that gun as long as they can and, make sure they don't make a trade so they can get the most out of him. And it makes sense because the offseason they will get more. But he still is going to be dealing with the whole suspension situation. And they can't... I mean, how long can the NFL wait to deal with this guy?
I don't know. They keep pushing it and pushing it. It's very weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole situation's kind of weird to me. But either way, nothing's going to happen this year.
No. And I think I sent a tweet out like maybe a month ago, and I was like, he's not playing it down. Like, I don't know why people are doing this.
Yeah.
I even bought into that trade rumor.
There's no news.
What'd you say?
Like Schefter and Rappaport are just like reporting on it because there's nothing else to report on it. It's like juicy news.
So, yeah. And then there was a rumor that is floating around that they had a done deal. But with him not settling his legal situations, it resulted in him not getting traded until possibly the new league year, and Houston denying the team to speak with Watson ended the talks today.
Wait, a deal with Miami?
Yeah. So Houston said you can't talk to him. They're like, nope.
What? Okay. Like, do you want to trade him or do you not want to trade him?
They don't. They want to get the most out of him, and I don't think Houston...
And that might backfire on them.
It might backfire on him. Very, very may will. Outside of that, there's some defensive moves, but there has been no
fantasy related news.
No fantasy related moves.
Other than the fact that Odell's dad called Baker Mayfield like a horrible quarterback or whatever.
I mean,
and posted a video of like multiple times of Baker Mayfield missing throws to Odell.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I want to have a kid. And from a young age, I'm going to raise this kid up.
Okay.
I'm going to raise him up to be an NFL player. I'm white, so this is going to be hard. but
he can be a left tackle.
That's fair. Lots of burgers.
Right guard.
Quarterback's real hard.
Yeah.
It's one white running back in the NFL. Or two, if you count Burkhead. Anyway, so, yes. You raise him up, and then I want to be that dad that, like, just completely disobeys the son's demands. Just tweets whatever I want.
Dad, could you just not talk about my team? No, it's fine. That's sure. The game on Sunday happens. His quarterback stinks.
Blows.
The coach
Get my
doesn't
kid
know what
out
he's
of there.
doing.
It's my kid that sucks, the quarterback.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's all the news we have. If I saw, it's stupid, Brian Edwards without Henry Ruggs, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, I mean they play different roles, but yeah, in my head, I don't know if this makes me a bad Patriots fan, but I was kind of hoping the Raiders would call us back about Nelson Aguilar and take him back.
Oh, please.
Like a second or third round pick.
Well, who's better, N'Keal Harry or Nelson Aguilar?
Probably Aguilar, but I would rather N'Keal Harry because he's younger and has some form of upside.
I keep looking at waivers and I'm like, I don't know what to do until after this trade deadline happens.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait.
But either way, from when we're recording this, we have an hour and 10 minutes left in the deadline. So we will get any information that happens to you when it happens, okay? But let's talk about the Thursday night game. What say you, Rick?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we have the Colts at home and the Jets who join on the road. If the Jets win this game, how many games do they win in a row with Mike White before they determine that their second overall pick quarterback is just not going to be the guy?
Unless if they won like 3 in a row, I think that would actually cause a legit concern for the Jets organization.
Imagine that you trade. Somebody came out and I saw a tweet and it was like the Jets traded Sam Darnold to draft Sam Darnold 2.0.
That's
God, he's played 6 games, guy.
Yeah,
Relax.
It's gross.
But anyway, no, I don't think Mike White is going to be good. But we'll talk about all the semantics of this this matchup for fantasy. Let's start with the Colts, and then we'll jump to the Jets and go from there. I think the Colts are really the only squad that has much fantasy relevance at this point.
Yeah.
If somebody from either one of these teams gets traded before Thursday night, I apologize. So anyway, let's start with the quarterback, Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. In real life, I think he's kind of garbage a little bit.
Hey.
I don't know what happened. Where like his MVP year,
bro. He has. Well, so you just look at his stats.
Yeah. His stats aren't bad, but it's just like, I don't know.
14
he hasn't been great.
3 interceptions.
His stats are good. His stats are actually very good. But like the eye test tells you that he hasn't been great. He's okay. I won't say he's trash, but for fantasy wise, he's actually been
better than Ben Roethlisberger.
Been decent. Yeah, no, he's better than that. Okay. Fantasy wise, he's been decent too. He consistently gets like around 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
At least since week 3. So, and then even week 1, week 2, he did okay. So like he's actually a decent streamable option. And against the Jets, do you consider starting him?
So there's 2 things. The Jets are like so bad that they either give a crap load of points up early in the game, and that either is a really good thing or a really bad thing for the quarterback. And then they end with, a game where it's not great. So they're a mediocre matchup. The thing that concerns me is I hate starting players on Thursday night with expectations that they're going to be really good because they're on that short week. And so I hate streaming quarterbacks who have a Thursday night football game.
No, I agree. That is kind of gross.
Especially again, like I'm not scared of the Jets. I'm not, but There's other guys out there. Like Tua is.
What do you say? I was going to ask you, Tua against Houston or Carson Wentz against the Jets?
Tua against Houston.
Yeah, I probably would do this.
I'd even like
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, same thing. I would.
Okay, you would.
Him,
okay. Yeah, I probably would too. I'd put him behind
Jones
that though.
him.
You'd put who?
Mac Jones. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, Mac attack.
Honestly, I don't see Mac's fantasy points being any kind of different when he starts picking it up.
Then Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz fantasy points. Hey, did you know Mac Jones is on pace for like 100 rushing yards this year?
Get lit.
I think Tom Brady's total is like 20. So, take that, Brady. Anyway.
Yeah, Mac's better.
Yeah, so you would say, not that Carson Wentz is like a sit this week, but like.
No, he's not a sit, but I mean, you're not going out of your way to play him. I think he's not too bad though of an option. I would say he gets like 18 fantasy points, 17 fantasy points. Yeah. So like he'll do okay, but
don't have like if you start him on Thursday night, don't have like extremely high expectations that this guy's going to completely dominate.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's really. I think in dynasty superflex leagues or even redraft superflex leagues, like I mean, he's obviously a very solid QB2.
Yeah,
but that's about it.
Okay, let's move to the wide receivers. We have 3 wide receivers to talk about. 2 a little bit more inconsistent, not really startable options, and then Michael freaking Pittman. Oh, excuse me.
Oh yeah, played him in daily fantasy this week. Got lit, but then I also played Kenneth Gainwell. So
yeah, all your money gone.
Yeah, I would have won. I would have won big this week if I just had a better running back. Thanks to Michael Pittman.
Sorry, bro. We forgive you for your terrible DFS decisions.
Yeah, thank you.
So Michael Pittman, he was a good late round grab. I want to see where he got taken. He 9th round, 10th round, normally.
Yeah,
around that.
In that range.
But he was going between, I would say, 9 and 12 in drafts, 9th to 12th round. And he had some decent upside this year, which was exciting. But I didn't really anticipate him like doing too much just because of, T.Y. Hilton, Zach Pascal. Like I was drafting Michael Pittman, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't like, oh my God, this guy's going to absolutely wide receiver 1 out of his mind, kind of season. He's a top 10 wide receiver right now.
Yeah.
So to start the season, he didn't do well against Seattle, but since then, he's been averaging right around 8 targets per game, and he had 16, 10, 8, 17, 4, 18, and 25. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So, Michael Pittman, I mean, is he a wide receiver 1 at this point?
I don't know if he's a wide receiver 1, but I'd say he's definitely a solid wide receiver 2. And he's probably startable each week, at least. He is startable each week, not probably. He's 100% is startable each week.
Yeah.
He's going to be in your lineup every week. I think he's either your wide receiver 2 or your flex. I don't know if he's quite a wide receiver 1 yet. I know he's had 2 really good weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And now T.Y. Hilton, who I know we're going to talk about in a second, but he's actually not playing this week. He got hurt again this past week. So that just has even more targets for Michael Pittman, and I think he's a very good start against the Jets.
So Michael Pittman, since week 2, so week 2 to 8, he is currently the wide receiver 8.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's been a wide receiver 1. He's been performing like one. I don't know if it continues. Like Rick said, I don't know by the end of the year where he finishes. It's probably going to be somewhere between wide receiver 15 and 18 is where my guess would be, like in the Cortland Sutton range. Yeah. Because I do think guys like DJ Moore, Mike Williams, others like AJ Brown, I think Amari Cooper will probably jump into that wide receiver 1 like class. And that'll push, and CeeDee Lamb, I should say too, and DeAndre Hopkins and Justin Jefferson. So many different guys. I just don't think, I think that, as good as Michael Pittman is playing, I don't know if he can hold that 8 spot or 10 spot that he's currently got. So I would say that he ends up being between 16 and 18. It's kind of where, if you look at the weeks 1 through 8 right now, you have guys like Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, guys like that. So, but is he startable this week?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. So we finally got a starter in this game. Rick mentioned T.Y. Hilton. He is hurt, and he probably will not play. This is T.Y. Hilton. I mean, this is what you get.
He's already been ruled out.
Yeah, he's already been ruled out for the game. He's played 2 games this year. And to be honest with you, in the games he's played, he had 10 points against Houston and only 50% snap percentage. And then he missed the game against San Fran. And he went out against Tennessee, got hurt after half the game as well. And he had 4 and 5 targets in those 2 games. If you give him like a full paced out like game, he might actually hit 8 or 9 targets.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. But he's not playing this week, and I don't even know that I want to start him until I see him actually perform in a game more than half.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, he's been like, wasn't he like this last year too?
Yeah. It's just he's old.
He's in the first half. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
So who's the other wide receiver besides Zach Pascal on their team?
Paris
Campbell.
Paris Campbell? Yeah.
I thought he got hurt.
He did get hurt. Hold on, I gotta pull up the list then because I have no idea.
I'm like, who is the abyss? Who's in the abyss? That is the wide
let's see.
Indianapolis Colts. There are players coming out of nowhere right now, like Derek Gore, Frank Gore's distant relative over here, scored a touchdown for the freaking Chiefs last night. I'm like, I didn't even know he was on a roster. Never heard of this guy in my life. Where did he come from?
Yeah, Ashton Doolin. That's
no. Stay about
it. Yeah. Would you consider Pascal since there's so many wide receiver injuries?
So normally I would say no, but against the Jets, he might be.
You're not starting him to start him.
No, you're not starting him to start him. He had a couple of good games to start the season. He's been averaging like 5 or 6 targets. He did have 8 this past week. I don't know if his target share stays at 8 because of the T.Y. Hilton like exit. So we'll see, but I doubt it. I think most of the fantasy relevance
Michael Pittman to the moon
position is going to be the guy.
Another 15 targets.
Yeah, probably. So, and then
Hines, the wide receiver too.
Essentially, they're probably that's not a bad play. Let's talk about Hines right now. Yeah. That's not a bad play this week. Because Hines is probably gonna get. I mean, he's been not good.
No, it's like why did he get that big contract? First of all, I don't know why he got the big contract in the first place, but if you're gonna give it to him, you gotta.
Do you think? I don't think he's startable this week. Do you think he does get more like target share with T.Y. out?
Yeah, I could see him. Like he had 5 targets this past week, 4 catches, 5 targets.
Yeah,
I could see that maybe even going up, like 6, 7 targets, and kind of being used in like the slot, so maybe some screen passes and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know if he's startable still because he's just been that bad all year. But
yeah, I don't think he's startable either. JT though, Jonathan Taylor is.
Jonathan Taylor definitely is. He I loved him in Dynasty. I took him in our Dynasty drafts. Kind of do you want to say it's a home Dynasty draft? Like what would you call that?
I don't know. I guess yeah. You can call it a home Dynasty.
Whatever. We started a Dynasty league this offseason. I took Jonathan Taylor. I loved Jonathan Taylor in Dynasty, but in redraft, the both of us were like, I don't want to take
won out the job. Well, there is a report though within the last hour. Marlon Mack will remain a Colt. There's no serious.
I'm not too worried about it. Not too worried about it because he's been a Colt the last few weeks and he's averaging like 25 points a week or almost that, like 20 to 25. So, not too worried about it. But yeah, he's been the RB3 this year in fantasy so far. He's been very, very good. Now, to be fair, if McCaffrey was healthy all year, if Dalvin Cook was healthy all year, would he be the top?
Go look at Dalvin's numbers.
Is it not good? I haven't even.
I don't know. I don't even really know how to describe it. It's painful though.
Uh,
6 points this week with a full workload.
That's
The
actually
Vikings
really
kind of
gross.
blow. Anyway, no, I mean, but since the big thing is like the first 3 weeks of the season, it was concerning. I really think that Colts were trying to figure out how to use the plethora of running backs they had.
Yeah.
But
They figured it out.
From week 4 to 8, they figured out, oh, well, we have this running back called Jonathan Taylor who's really good. Maybe we should use him. Well, I could have told you that. Since then, Jonathan Taylor is the RB1.
Yep. Of course.
Number one, like main, biggest, best running back. And there are some guys, keenly by the name of Derrick Henry who've been absolutely bonkers. And he's ahead of Derrick Henry from weeks 4 to 8. So he's been very good, matchup proof. You got to start him obviously in this game, but I like talking about Jonathan Taylor. I will gladly admit that I was wrong. But I will say, my opinions on Jonathan Taylor had nothing to do with his talent and ability and everything.
No, it was the same. It was Marlon Mack and Nate Hines. The fact that they used all three guys, and they did in the beginning of the season, but now they've smartened up.
The funny thing is that Jonathan Taylor still only averages a 60% snap percentage or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, yeah.
So anyway, start Jonathan Taylor. And then are there any tight ends on the Colts that you're interested in starting this week? I know they have Mo Cox, who's probably the main guy, and then they have Jack Doyle. I don't like either one of them.
Yeah, I don't particularly like either one of them either, although without the receivers, they might see an increased target share, but you still don't really go crazy over it either. Definitely not Jack Doyle. It looks like he's kind of, just based off what he's done this year, he's getting one target a game.
Yeah.
Mo Cox is at least getting 3 to 4 targets a game, but he still has weeks where he does absolutely nothing. If you're going to start either of them, I guess it would be Mo Cox, and I think he could be okay this week, just because, again, the injuries at wide receiver for the Colts. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not thrilled about either guy.
Okay, sounds good. Let's move to the Jets. What say you?
Why not? Got to anyway.
Mike White?
Yeah, he's putting up another 4,000 yards.
Okay, so I would think there's some I'm in so many different fantasy football groups, but the worst ones are the ones on Facebook. Does anyone use that platform anymore?
I don't know.
I do. Because I see the comments. So the amount of time I spend on Facebook is it would astound me, probably. Stupid platform. Anyway. But yeah, so on that one, I saw somebody say, should I trade A.J. Brown for...
No. Don't say it. Don't finish your sentence.
It was somebody really bad. I was like, for another wide receiver that was the third wide receiver on it. I can't remember who it was.
I thought you were going to say Mike White.
Anthony Miller or something like that.
A.J. Brown from Mike White.
Yeah, A.J. Brown from Mike White. But people are dumb. And, I won't say dumb. They're just uneducated about fantasy football.
Sure.
So I'll just let you know. I know Mike White went out and had a really, really, really good week this week and had a lot of fantasy points and threw a lot of touchdowns and, had something going. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not going to happen. Now, Indianapolis's passing defense has been not good this year. It has not been good. The run defense has been really good. So I don't know how that affects the situation with Mike White, but Mike White is still a backup quarterback who we hadn't heard about until this injury with Zach Wilson. So if he has another really big game, then maybe you look at him and you go, okay. But here's the thing with Mike White is a lot of people are even jumping off the cliff and being like, oh, Mike White's playing better than Zach Wilson. Those Jets fans are a little bit crazy over there. But I will tell you, Mike White has been in the league for 3 years, and he has far more experience than Zach Wilson does in being in the NFL. And so, of course, he's going to have some, even when they were playing the Pats and Zach Wilson got injured and he came into the game, he actually looked better than Zach did. And it's just because he's been in the league longer. He understands coverages. He's not a rookie. He's not going to make stupid decisions like Zach Wilson will. And Zach will figure it out. He'll be fine. He's their franchise quarterback. stop with Mike White. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to spend any time on Mike White really, but I don't think he's gonna do what he did last week. So
now, if he does, do you give him the time of day?
Yeah, we'll think about it. I'll bring it up later.
There you go.
Any more thoughts on Mike White?
No.
Okay, all right. The only guy that I think there's some wide receivers on this team that have had some interesting weeks. We can go through them quickly, but Corey Davis is the first guy. He's had some really, really big games. He's had some really, really bad games. Right now, his status this week is to be determined. He said he's feeling good at this. They said he's feeling good at this stage, but we'll see when he was asked about availability for Thursday night's game. I'm going to say he most likely won't play if he's dealing with some kind of injury and it's a short week. So I think they will probably wait. But the time that Corey Davis has played, he's been inconsistent, but he's had some good games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play him though. Still, because if he's out there, it's on a short week. I don't know if he's even going to get a full workload.
Yeah.
And yeah, with Mike White, I don't think he throws another 400 yards. So
yeah,
I probably would not with Corey Davis, but maybe. I mean, if you need him, he's probably the best receiver on this list for the Jets. So
he also has those first couple games of the season were tough, but he has an easier schedule in the next
couple weeks.
Yeah, in the next couple weeks besides Buffalo. So, yeah, but I would agree with Rick. Without Zach Wilson,
yeah,
I'm not really excited about Corey Davis. I'm not really excited about any of these receivers. But Corey Davis has been decent. He's been all right.
Yeah.
Before the injury. And then you have Jamison Crowder, who's been garbage. Rumored in trades, by the way.
He's actually been okay. If you look at the stats.
See, here you go again with these Jets wide receivers.
I'm not saying anything about
I think you owned 3 Jets wide receivers last year in a home league. All together at one point.
I used to like Crowder. Okay.
You liked Crowder. You had Denzel Mims on your team.
I still like Mims.
I was like, oh god, guys.
I think Mims is getting the N'Keal Harry treatment. But yeah. Crowder's been okay, but I still would not start him.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him either. And then the other guy that has he's shown some okay games so far this year. And he's been getting targeted more and more as the weeks go along. Obviously, Tennessee didn't play, and then Atlanta, he only had a 41% snap percentage. But he has, if you take away the first game and then those last 2 games against Tennessee and Atlanta, week 4 and 5, he has 8, 6, 6, 6, and 8, 6, 6, and 6 targets. So he's been getting targeted.
Yeah,
and he is a rookie, so I don't like him I don't want to start him at all. But he's an intriguing guy to keep an eye on.
I wouldn't start him, and I would keep an eye on him, but I wouldn't really expect much at all. I still like him a lot in Dynasty, but in terms of this year, probably not. Maybe end of the season he lights it up, but as long as Crowder's still there, Crowder's playing the role that Elijah Moore should be playing, so they're kind of putting him on the outside because he's like the third guy. So Corey Davis is on the outside. They put Jamison Crowder in the slot, and then they put Elijah Moore on the other side, and that's not
look at you
where he should be playing.
Look at you knowing exactly what the Jets are doing right now.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of sad.
Following your Jets receivers.
I got a soft spot for the Jets receivers.
I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't know, dude. It has nothing to. It's like, why did they have to go to the Jets? I liked Elijah. Remember pre-draft?
Bro, you would have ripped your pants off and run around your house completely butt naked if the Corey Davis signed with the Pats.
Dude, if the Patriots signed Corey Davis and then traded up in the draft and took like Elijah Moore in the second round or something, along with Christian Barrymore, I would have
had the same feeling.
Pants would have been off. Yeah, pants would have been completely off.
We took Christian Barmore though. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I like Barmore, but I would have liked Barmore and Elijah Moore. That would have been even better.
But anyway, so yeah, those are the wide receivers, kind of garbage. And then Ty Johnson's garbage.
Yeah.
Tight ends for them are garbage. The only guy that I see with any kind of fantasy like relevance really in this game is Michael Carter.
Michael Carter.
Which is shocking, but he took over as the main guy for the most part.
Yeah.
He had 14 targets this past week. 14.
I hate letting people talk me out of things. I loved Michael Carter, and like I was like, I kind of want to draft him. No, not necessarily you, but like Twitter in general.
Like I don't know that I had hard opinions on Michael Carter.
I liked Michael Carter. I didn't love Michael Carter.
Or Twitter was like, no.
Yeah, exactly. I won't say I didn't love Michael Carter, but I was like, he's not bad. I remember I said on a show once that I'd rather Carter over Trey Sermon in like dynasty rookie drafts, and then I went on Twitter and like everybody was saying the opposite, and I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And I kind of like fading Michael Carter.
The 49ers are better than the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. But I just like the player.
I think we can all agree
that
these
Michael
running
Carter.
backs are not very good to start. So
no, but then I didn't have any shares of him, and now I regret that.
Now I will say this: Michael Carter has been not efficient.
No,
in the slightest. Like this year so far, he has 3.82 yards per carry and 6.11 yards per catch, or no, 8.69 yards per catch. 10 is good for a running back. So, it's been 8's not bad. 8's not bad for a running back. But yeah, the yards per carry, that's disgusting. But he's been their goal line back.
He's a very good pass catching back.
He's a very good pass catcher, and he provides fantasy like relevance.
Right.
And the last couple weeks, from weeks 4 to 8, he's had 9, 13, 12, and 27.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's looking pretty good. I wish I had those numbers pulled up because that's the same stretch that I was pacing out Jonathan Taylor to, I think. And
he had a bye in between there, so it might ruin his rankings.
Michael Carter is the RB15
with a bye. And he's averaging 15.8 points per game, which puts him in that stretch of time in the conversation of like RB 13, 14. That's pretty good.
So yeah, he's not been bad. So I think, with that being said, Indianapolis is an extremely tough matchup for running backs, and I don't know that I want to play him either.
I know. I wouldn't start him just to start him, but I would still consider it because of his receiving work.
Right.
Mike White loves to. Ever since Zach Wilson has been out, Michael Carter had 9 targets, and then he had 14 targets this past week. So he's gonna dump it off to Michael Carter's good for at least like I'm gonna say 5 to 6 catches, and that alone I think is gonna make him at least fantasy relevant, like a floor of like 8-9 points, and then if he gets just a half decent game on the ground or maybe a touchdown, then boom, he has another good week. So yeah, I would consider starting him at your flex, but obviously the Colts do have a good run defense, so you should keep an eye on that.
Yeah, definitely. No news, man. This boring trade deadline keeps getting boringer. Oh,
I know.
Wait, hold on a second. Defensive end. Never mind. Texans traded a 6th round pick from the 49ers in exchange for defensive end Charles Amenhai, who I don't want to say anything, boss. That's just an update on our previous trade.
Would be surprised if the Giants did anything. So it looks like the Giants are done already. If that matters.
They should just trade everyone.
Yeah.
Get Saquon Barkley out of there.
Yeah, send Saquon and Tooney to the Pats for Damian Harris and a 7th rounder.
That seems fair.
We'll even throw in Aguilar.
It's disgusting. Yeah. Anyway, well, that does it for the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. It's been an interesting show. Really boring Thursday night football game. I'm not excited to watch it at all.
I'm not either.
I didn't even watch Monday Night Football too much. I did watch, for the first time this year, the Peyton Eli thing. That was really entertaining. More than I thought it would be. See you later, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.